Something drew you here, something older than chance, quieter than coincidence. That pull you felt, that gentle stirring that would not leave you alone, that was me. I was the one calling. I have been calling for a long time. Before the foundations of the world were laid, I saw this moment. I saw the road you would walk. I saw the valleys that would take your breath away and the mountains that would seem impossible to climb. I saw every wrong turn and every long detour. And I made sure that through all of it, through every winding, painful, confusing mile of it, you would arrive right here. This moment was written in eternity, and you are exactly where you're supposed to be. I need you to hear something today. Not with the part of you that analyzes and debates. Not with the part of you that has been disappointed before and learned to hold hope at a distance. I need you to hear what I am about to say with the deepest part of you. The part that already knows it is true, that has been waiting to hear it spoken plainly. You are seen. You are known. You have never been forgot. I have watched you in the quiet. I have been there in the hours when the house was still and sleep would not come. When your mind turned over every fear, every unanswered question, every burden you had no one to hand to. I sat with you in that silence. You thought you were alone in it. You were not. I was there, closer than you knew, holding more than you could see. I did not look away. I did not grow tired of your sorrow or impatient with your grief. I held every single one as something precious. Not one tear was wasted. Not one cry went unheard. You have never prayed into an empty room. Every word you ever sent toward heaven reached me, and every word mattered. I saw you give when you had almost nothing left. I saw you hold yourself together in public when you were falling apart in private. I watched you push through days that should have finished you. I watched you protect those you love even when no one was protecting you. I witnessed the strength it took to keep believing when the evidence around you seemed to say that believing was foolish. I saw all of it. Not one moment has escaped my attention. I saw the betrayals that broke something in you. I watched the ones you trusted the most become the source of your deepest wounds. I witnessed how your kindness was used against you. How your loyalty was mistaken for weakness. How the people who should have covered you became the ones who exposed you to the cold. I watched you carry that pain quietly, refusing to become bitter, choosing to keep your heart open even when every instinct said to close it. That was not weakness. That was one of the most courageous things I have ever watched a person do. There were mornings you did not want to rise. There were seasons you prayed the same prayers so many times they began to feel worn like cloth that has been washed until it grows thin. You wondered if your faith was enough. You wondered if the silence from heaven meant the answer was no. My child, the silence was never no. The silence was not even silence. It was the sound of deep work being done in places you could not see. Every moment you held on when you wanted to let go, something in you grew stronger. Every time you chose trust, when doubt would have been easier, something in you was being shaped for a purpose greater than anything you had asked me for. You were not forgotten in the waiting. A seed buried deep in dark soil cannot see the sun. It cannot feel the warmth of the season changing above it. It simply receives what I send down into the ground and grows. That is what was happening in your life during the long, quiet, seemingly fruitless stretch. You were growing deeper than you knew, stronger than you felt. There were nights you asked me why it was taking so long, why others seemed to move forward while you stayed still, why the door kept closing just when it seemed about to open. I heard every one of those questions. I want you to know they were never impertinent. They were honest. And I love your honesty. You were not demanding more than I could give. You were reaching for what I had already promised. That kind of faith, the kind that keeps reaching even through the confusion, is not a small thing to me. And now something has changed. The season has turned. I cannot tell you the exact moment it shifted, but I can tell you that it did. Something is different now. You can feel it even if you cannot name it. There is a stirring that was not there before. A sense that the ground beneath your life is moving again, that something long dormant is beginning to wake. That is not imagination. That is confirmation. What is coming is not a small improvement on what you have known. It is the fullness of everything I promised, and I do not break my promises. Declare your amen if you believe God has been with you through every season of your life. Now I need to tell you something that is going to reframe everything you have been through. Something that will change the way you look at the hardest seasons of your life. Because there is something that has been happening in the unseen realm. Something you did not fully understand while you were in the middle of it. The enemy has been terrified of you, not cautious, not slightly concerned. Terrified, he has known things about you that you forgot about yourself. He has seen the anointing placed on your life. The calling, the assignment, the weight of purpose that was written over you before you took your first breath. He has watched heaven's investment in you. And he has known that when you finally step into the fullness of who I created you to be, something extraordinary will happen. Chains will break, hearts will open, lives will change. What I have placed in you carries the power to reach far beyond you. That is why he fought you so hard. He did not come against you because you were weak. He came against you because you were powerful. He did not oppose you because you were insignificant. He opposed you because your significance in my kingdom is far greater than he ever wanted you to discover. Every time he could make you feel small, worthless, forgotten, too far gone, he was buying time. He was trying to keep you from waking up to what you actually carry. Every setback in your life was not random misfortune. It was warfare. Every door that closed at the wrong moment, warfare. Every relationship that fell apart, strategic opposition. Every season of delay when breakthrough seemed so close and then pulled away. Not accident, not punishment, not divine abandonment. Warfare. The enemy does not waste resources on things that do not matter. He was terrified of your next season. He still is. Those who hurt you deepest and most deliberately, they were being used. I am not excusing what they did. What they did caused real damage and real pain, and I take that seriously. But the enemy worked through the people closest to you precisely because that is where wounds go deepest. He was not trying to inconvenience you. He was trying to make you abort your purpose. He was trying to make the pain so great that you would close your heart, give up your calling, and spend the rest of your days surviving instead of living. But you did not. You are still here. And that is not a small thing. That alone tells you something. That alone is a sign that what I placed in you is not finished. I have not changed my mind about you. I have not revised your calling based on what you have been through. I have not handed your assignment to someone else while you were in the valley. My gifts and purposes once given are not taken back. You are still marked. You are still chosen. The anointing on your life has not faded. It has been deepened by the very suffering the enemy meant to use against you. The fire was not punishment. It was preparation. Every moment inside it was doing something in you that comfort alone could never have built. The prolonged seasons of lack were not evidence of my absence. They were evidence of his fear. He was placing obstacle after obstacle in your path because he could see where the path was leading. He saw the destination even when you could not, and it frightened him. I want you to stop seeing your path through his eyes and start seeing it through mine. When I look at what you have walked through, I do not see a person diminished by their trials. I see a person refined by them. I see someone who has been tested at the deepest level and did not break. I see someone who chose faith when the evidence pointed everywhere else. I see someone who kept praying when the prayers felt hollow, who kept trusting when trust felt foolish, who kept their hands open when every wound in them said to close up and protect yourself. That is not a person who has been weakened. That is a person who has been made ready. And now I am telling you his time of opposition in this season is over. The window he was trying to close is opening. The momentum he was trying to stop is building. What he designed to bury you has become the very thing that positioned you. What he sent to destroy you has become the foundation you are standing on. Do not mistake this for easy optimism. I am not giving you pleasant words to make you feel better for an hour. I am speaking a decree over your life. What I decree does not return void. What I declare in heaven becomes reality on the earth, and I am declaring it now. Every scheme formed against you in this season is being dismantled. Every weapon raised against you is being turned back. The enemy overplayed his hand. He pushed too far, pressed too hard, and crossed a line that made me move on your behalf. That is what you are feeling right now. That is the shift in the air. That is me moving. I know that you have come through this carrying wounds. I know the weariness in your bones is real. The places where trust was broken are real. The questions that linger at the back of your mind about whether you are enough, whether the damage is too deep, those are real too. I am not asking you to pretend otherwise. I am asking you to give those wounds to me. Lay them down and let me show you what I am about to do with every single one. Because I have been watching this whole time, working this whole time, holding you this whole time, and I am about to make the enemy regret every move he ever made against you. Say, I receive this. If you believe the enemy's assignment against your life is being broken right now, there are lies you have been living under. Whispers that have been running so long in the background of your thinking that they began to feel like truth. I am about to dismantle every single one of them. The enemy told you that you are a failure. I say you are someone I have been forming into a world changer. The enemy whispered that you are too broken to be used. I say your brokenness is exactly what qualifies you for the assignment I have given you, because you have learned things in the broken places that the untested never could. The enemy told you that you missed your window, that you left it too late, that the season for your life has come and gone. I say your moment is now. I am opening doors that no force on this earth can shut. The enemy declared that you are forgotten, that no one of significance sees you or cares what becomes of you. I declare that you are chosen before the foundation of the world, that your name is written on the palms of my hands. The enemy screamed that you are worthless. I announce that you are priceless, worth the blood of my own son, worth every sacrifice, worth everything it costs to bring you back to me. The enemy said you will never recover from what happened. I say full restoration is coming. Not a patched-up version of what you had, but something rebuilt and renewed from the ground up. The enemy proclaimed that your best days are behind you. I prophesy that the days ahead are greater than anything that came before. Not in spite of what you suffered, because of what you suffered. The suffering deepened you. The trials widened your capacity. You can carry more now than you could before. And what I am about to release requires someone who can carry it. The enemy said you made too many mistakes. I say your past is covered, and I remember your failures no more. The enemy insisted you are too weak for what lies ahead. I say my strength is made perfect in your weakness. That the very places where you run out of yourself are where my power rests most completely on you. The enemy told you that you are disqualified by your history. I declare that you are called and chosen according to my purpose, and no history under my forgiveness can disqualify you. The enemy claimed you are abandoned, that the people who matter have left, and those who remain do not understand. I say I will never leave you. I have been beside you through every valley, and I will be beside you through every mountain still ahead. You are accepted. You are held. You are never alone. Who are you going to believe? The voice of the accuser whose only purpose is to steal and destroy, or the voice of your Creator who gave everything to restore you? The lie that has dimmed your life, or the truth that sets you free? Choose now, not tomorrow, now. Choose what you will allow to stand as true in your heart about who you are and what is coming for you. Now hear me on this. There is a seal that has been placed over your provision. It has been the source of the strain in that area of your life. The sense that no matter how hard you worked, the supply was never quite enough. That doors closed just before you could walk through them. That seal was never meant to be permanent. I allowed it as a testing season to see if you would keep trusting me when nothing seemed to be working. To see if your faith was real or only present when conditions were easy. You passed. You did not do it perfectly. You wavered. You had your moments of doubt. But you did not abandon your faith. You did not close your hands. You did not walk away. And because of that, because of the faith you held when faith was the hardest thing to hold, the seal is cracking open right now, my child. I am asking you to place a portion of what you have, something of real weight, upon the altar of this work, as gold laid on the scales of this calling. Let it be a seed sown into deep water, an offering set on stone, not held back in fear. This is proof that your trust rests in my hand to provide, and that your heart no longer clings to lack. What you release in faith does not leave your life. It moves ahead of you into the harvest I'm preparing. Let your faith breathe for a moment. This is sacred ground, an act of trust made before any evidence arrives, before any proof appears. That is faith in its purest form, and I receive it. The provision seal is breaking open. Resources are being released that have been held in reserve. Provision will come from directions you did not anticipate, through pathways you did not think to look down. I say this not to paint an easy picture, but because it is what I have already set in motion. The supply that felt blocked is beginning to flow. What felt like perpetual lack is making way for a new season of overflow. Stop bracing for shortage. I know that is what long seasons of struggle teach a heart to do. It becomes a form of self-protection, a way of guarding against disappointment one more time. But a heart that is braced against loss cannot open wide enough to receive what is coming. A closed posture cannot gather what I am sending. Open your expectations. Open your hands. Open your belief to the possibility that this time is different, because this time it is. The provision seal is open, and I am faithful to fill every space I open. There is a second seal I want to speak about now. The seal that has been placed over your relationships. This is the one that has been feeding the loneliness. The one that made you feel as though you could be surrounded by people and still feel profoundly alone. The one that kept the right connections just out of reach. That brought people into your life who could not see your value or chose not to honor it. That left you wondering if genuine connection was even something you were made for. I know the loneliness has been deep. I know there were seasons when you looked around at what surrounded you and felt the ache of being misunderstood, underestimated, or simply unseen. I know what it is to watch others walk in the connections you longed for while you stood at a distance. I am not dismissing that pain. I witnessed every moment of it. But I need you to understand something about why the isolation came. The clearing was not only the enemy's work. I allowed some of the emptying because what was filling your life was holding you back. Some of the connections that were removed were connections that were diminishing you. Not building you, not calling out the greatness I placed in you, not walking with you toward what I had prepared for your life. Some of them were comfortable in ways that were actually keeping you small. You had outgrown certain relationships, but the security of the familiar made it impossible to move forward. So I cleared space, not to wound you, to make room. What I am sending into your life now cannot arrive until the space is prepared. You cannot put new wine into old wineskins. The connections I have been holding in preparation for you. The ones who will recognize the anointing on your life. Who will open doors you could not open for yourself. Who will stand beside you without needing to reduce you in order to feel secure. They cannot enter a life where there is no room for them. The clearing hurt. I know it did. But it was preparation, not punishment. People are being sent from places you would not think to look. They are already in motion. A mentor who carries keys to your next level is being positioned by an arrangement you did not orchestrate. A partner who understands your purpose is on the way. Someone who will look at you and immediately recognize what you carry. They are coming. These are not random meetings. These are encounters designed in eternity and time to the hour. When they arrive, you will know something in your spirit will recognize the divine fingerprint on the introduction. These connections will be different from what you have experienced before. They will not take more than they give. They will not shrink in the presence of your gifts. They will not compete with your calling or resent your growth. They will call it out. They will press you further into what I have placed in you. They will see in you what I have always seen. And they will refuse to let you settle for less. That is the nature of the divine connections I am sending. They do not flatter, they build. They do not accommodate your weaknesses. They help you grow past them. When you encounter them, hold on. They are rare, they are intentional, they are from me. I'm also speaking about restoration. Not every broken relationship will be restored, not all of them should be, and I will give you wisdom to know the difference. But some of the severed connections that still carry weight in your heart, the ones where grief, not relief, rises when you think of them, some of those are not over. Reconciliation is coming in those places. An apology is on its way from someone you had stopped expecting to hear it from. A conversation is coming that will change the way you understand what happened. Some bridges you thought were permanently burned are being rebuilt by my hand. I know you have been careful with your heart since the last time it was broken. I know the walls went up for good reason. I am not asking you to pull them down recklessly or to trust those who have not earned it. I am asking you to trust me. Trust that I can bring the right people through every wall you have built. Trust that I can restore what genuine divine purpose holds together. Trust that the deep hunger you carry for real community, for relationships where you can be fully known and still fully loved, is not you asking for too much. It is evidence that I made you for it. I do not create longings without the capacity to fulfill them. I do not make a heart that aches for belonging and then leave that ache permanently unanswered. The longing is there because the fulfillment is coming. The ache is there because the answer is real. You are not made for isolation. You are made for deep-rooted, faithful connection. The kind that sharpens you, that holds you accountable with gentleness, that speaks to what I placed in you without envy. That connection is being released now. The seal over your relationships is breaking. The isolation is not your permanent address. It was a chapter, a long, costly, necessary chapter. And the chapter is closing. When someone new crosses your path in this season, do not be so armored against disappointment that you miss a divine appointment. Pay attention in the unexpected places. A conversation that goes deeper than the surface. A person whose words land exactly where you needed them to. A connection that feels strangely familiar even though it is new. Those are not coincidences. I am in those moments. I am the one arranging them. Watch for the introductions I am making in your life. They are not by chance. They are by design. Now we come to the third seal, and this one is the deepest. This is the seal over your purpose. It is the one that has kept you in a long holding pattern, circling the same territory, feeling the restlessness of someone who knows they were built for more, but cannot seem to find the door that leads there. This is the seal behind the nagging sense that something is missing, not from your circumstances, but from your life at its core. The quiet dissatisfaction that followed you even into seasons when things were relatively fine on the outside. That dissatisfaction was not ingratitude. It was a signal. I put it there. I designed you with a longing for your true calling, and that longing does not go quiet just because life gets busy or comfortable. It stays. It persists. It presses against the ordinary until you pay attention. If you have been feeling it, that is not a problem to manage. That is a call to answer. You were made for a specific assignment, not a general one. A specific one. I did not create you and then release you into the world with a vague hope that something meaningful might find you. I gave you gifts that point in a particular direction. I gave you a history that prepared you for a particular work.